All right, so welcome back to another successful student interview. With me, I've got Laura from what part of Florida are you in, Laura?
Wellington.
Wellington, Florida. So, what I like to do is when we have a student that's in our For Sale by Owner training program that really is an action taker, and I learned this early on with Laura that, she was going to show up and she was going to do the work. And I think you've now been part of our program for how long, Laura?
3 weeks.
About 3 weeks. Okay. So what I'd like to do is kind of share with the audience, what you've been through and what your real estate business was like. Remember when you and I talked about a month ago, in like what your new world looks like, to give people kind of a picture of what real estate can be like when you have a real direction to focus on. So how long have you been selling real estate?
It's going to be 3 years this month.
Awesome. And so before we met, what was your real estate business like?
It was unsuccessful. Not a lot going on, unfortunately.
Okay.
And, a big sense of lost, I guess, of just trying this, and not getting the results that I wanted.
Okay. And it's hard to put your finger on that, but like so many real estate agents go through that same thing. And if you had to try and, put your finger on the reason why, is it because of like all the stuff out there and just a lack of clarity, a lack of direction, or what was it that you think caused you for the last 3 years to not get the results you were looking for?
I think definitely lack of consistency, lack of systems. I kept trying to build up systems, but I would get started and then we'll get discouraged and we'll try something else. Personally, I have a lot of other things with, I have 3 kids, so obviously those are priority. And finally trying to get my schedule organized where, I spend so many hours at work and then take care of the family. I think that combination of all of that has helped.
Yeah. And that's what I really like about, I think, For Sale by Owners, which you and I talked about. And let's just shift gears for a minute. What does your new schedule look like now that you've been in the training program for, we said, about 3 weeks now, correct?
Right. Yes.
So give somebody an idea of like what your new world looks like, maybe with your new focus and how you're able to manage, your kids and your life, and you can still go out there and have success listing homes.
So I take my kids to school in the morning. That's the first thing I do, and I'm still able to do that. I also like to go to the gym, and I also do that in the mornings for the most part. So I usually start my day around 9:30. I go in. Now I have an office space. I didn't used to have an office space, so now I do, and that's helped out a lot. So I go to the office between 9 and 9:30, make the phone calls, do what I have to do as far as getting the follow-up preparation work done, and set up appointments to go see homes either at noontime or on the 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And that kind of works out the best so that I can still take care of my kids. So it's just kind of been a trial and error kind of thing, so that I can get everything I need to get done and still be able to go see homes.
And are you able now to set appointments consistently with sellers almost every day or every week, would you say, or what does that look like now?
Yes. This week was a slow week. I only had 2 preview appointments. I had that one listing that started this week. But for the most part, yes, I'm able to call new FSBOs in the morning and set up appointments for either that afternoon or the following day.
So, what's interesting is, I don't know if you remember, but when we first spoke, you talked about having a certain level of uncomfortable feelings around calling these people.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, and And what caused that? What caused you to be uncomfortable with calling these people before?
What I had attempted for was expired listings. I did that for a while. I was not comfortable, like I said, I haven't had a very successful year. So I was uncomfortable with the idea of actually being able to help them sell their home. So as I would try to start making the phone calls, then I would start having doubts in myself, and then I would start getting, sick to my stomach and, sweating. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to help. So I kept questioning myself about every listing or every call. I would look at the house and I'm like, oh my God, this house is this, or this one is already too overpriced, or I will start putting things in my head and just prevent, just not making the phone calls. And then if they would give me a hard time, which at least with expires, they do, they hang up on you, or they don't answer, or they might say not very nice things. So, then that didn't help. And then, before I know it, I was not making phone calls because it was just not comfortable. And then if I did make the phone calls, then I didn't know what to do the next week or the following week. Or now what, So
that makes sense. And I think a lot of agents will relate to that. I think a lot of people feel that same way. And so what's different now? I mean, now you're going through our 30-day challenge, and not only are you making phone calls every day, not only are you setting appointments almost every day or every other day, but you're doing it on video. You talk about being uncomfortable. I mean, you are one of our students that really understands what it takes to get results, because how long was it after you started the program when you got your first listing?
Was it 14, 15 days?
Yeah.
Or something like that, yeah.
So what's different now? How are you able to make the calls, set all these appointments, take listings, and do it all on video and be 100% comfortable with it now?
Well, the phone calls to FSBOs compared to expires, which I learned because I had not attempted FSBOs before until now, are a lot easier. They for the most part, answer the phone call, and for the most part are willing to have a conversation with you. And if they do let you go into their homes to preview their homes, they're nice, for the most part, nice people who, are trying to sell their home, and, they welcome you to the house, they give you information, and, my interaction with them has been very positive. So that helps, because I'm not throwing myself into somebody who's upset and yelling at me and saying, negative things. For the most, on the contrary, they have been really nice people. And then secondly is that I know what to do now. The whole system is laid out for me. So I know what to do on day 2, and I know what to do on week 2 and week 3 and week 4. And, what I've learned, during the 3 years that I've been doing real estate, I've listened to other people. I've been following you for months. So I know that what you're saying and the system that's laid out for this FSBO program, I know that it works because I've heard it numerous times again, that this is where it works, follow up and doing this and being consistent. So I know the system works. So I'm just going to do it. And I was at that point that I just needed to do it.
Awesome. And, when you talk about the system, do you go into these homes and put sellers under high pressure situations and are super aggressive with them and list your home, list your home, list your home, list your home, which is what everyone else is teaching? Or do we teach you to take a different approach?
Yeah, no, a completely different approach. In fact, I don't go with the mindset of trying to list their homes. In my case, since I'm new to the program, 3 weeks, what I keep trying to tell myself is to go and practice. Even if I don't think I can sell the house, even if that house is maybe not the ideal location for my business, or whatever the case might be, where in the past I kept second guessing myself. I would look at a home like, oh, I will never be able to sell that house, or oh, that house is too far, or that's, above my, the price range I would like to be, or below the price range I would like to be. So I would keep putting obstacles that, just prevented me from making the phone calls and meeting the people. My approach now is like, even if, it's not the ideal home that I would like to list, I'm just going to go and I'm going to see if I can help them and just do everything that I'm supposed to do to the T, and just keep trying, keep at it, day in, day out.
Yeah, because it's just natural, right? Like what we believe in, what we teach is a system where we don't try to be aggressive or pushy salespeople. We try to just go meet with people face to face. We lead with contribution and giving a homeowner a ton of value and educate them. And what happens over time is these people really start to like you and respect you. And they call you back and say, Laura, can you come list my house? And that's what happened to you, I think, on day 6 of your 30-day challenge. Isn't that kind of how it happened?
Yeah, that's how it happened. I sent them a text for the follow-up plan, and they said they wanted to meet me. And, they had a lot of questions, and they were through with their, with their listing, with their listing of what I was offering. So they had a lot of questions. They did their homework, and they liked everything I said, and I was able to list with them. And even as I was preparing myself for the listing presentation, it was my very first listing presentation since I started the FSBO program. So I kept trying to have that mentality of, it's okay if I don't get the listing. Like, I didn't want to have that pressure, because I wanted to have this comfort level of being able to, talk to them and see what made more sense for them. And if me listing their home was not what made more sense for them, I wanted to go in with that attitude. So I kept trying to tell myself, I don't get the listing, like that was not the goal. The goal was to try to see what made more sense for them in their, in trying to sell their home. And I love it. And that helped.
Yeah, because you took an approach of a consultant or an advisor. You weren't there to sell them anything. And what ended up happening is natural through you advising them and you educating them without having to sell them anything. Naturally, you guys came to an agreement that, hey, we're going to go ahead and list this home. And there was no uncomfortable, pushy closes like, okay, now, sign the contract. There was none of that, right?
No, there was none of that. No, they asked a lot of questions, and I was like, are you sure, this is what you want to do? Is this it was like even making sure that that's what they want to do, versus before I would be like, here, sign here, and then I'll ask them.
I love it. Good for you. So, I really love having you inside the program. I love being able to be part of your business, but what advice, I think, would you give to real estate agents out there that are just struggling to get listings and they're getting all this information in their head? What advice would you give them so where they can just focus and start getting some of the results that you're getting?
I think that, what I learned when I finally decided to join the program was that for my case, for my business, that prospecting, calling FSBOs, expires, whatever the case might be, was going to be what I needed to make my business grow. It was something that I needed to decide. I needed to know and make that decision so that I can just go ahead and do it and go at it 110%. And I had made a decision, probably 6 months ago, that this is the route that was going to help me grow and help my business grow. And that's why I decided to do FSBOs. And that's why I decided to commit to a program like yours that was going to help me get started, give me all the tools that I needed. And I think if anybody else, making the phone calls made me sick. They made me very uncomfortable. I was not comfortable doing it, and very uneasy. But like I said, I knew that this is what's gonna be to help my business grow. Because if I wasn't gonna do this, then my business was not gonna grow, and then I needed to figure out if this made sense for me or not. So what I would have done differently, or what I would tell them, is just do it. just make the phone calls, just get through it, day in, day out. What I keep trying to tell myself is like, think of the activity, that the fact that in the morning you have to just make the phone calls, regardless of how it goes. If you get previous, good. If you don't get previous, try again tomorrow, and just think of it, as a system, as an activity base, and, you'll get more comfortable, which I am getting more comfortable, and continue to grow, so that's what I would tell them. Just do it.
Just keep going, right? One step at a time.
One step at a time.
And I've been doing a lot of research and understanding with my coach and mentor about people that climb large mountains. These people that go on these huge mission trips and try to climb these huge mountains. And what they say is, with their advice, Laura, is they say, never look at the summit. Never look up. You look down at your feet, just going one at a time. And that's how you climb the mountain. Because most agents are looking at like, oh man, how am I going to make, $100,000, or how am I going to do this, or how am I going to do that? And it just seems so overwhelming that when they call and then they get rejections and they don't get results, they quit so fast because they're looking at this thing and they're so overwhelmed. And so I think that's great advice, just to take one step at a time, one day at a time, and treating your business as like a weekly business plan versus a yearly business plan, right?
Yeah.
So what are your goals? Here we are at the beginning of November 2018. We've got about 60 days left of the year. As you start to think about all the things you're learning now, what could your 2019 look like? Like, what are your goals?
In terms of transactions, ideally, I would like to do at least 15, 16 transactions. In my case, like I said, I'm a mom. I have 3 kids, and that's my priority. And I've never had a year with 16 transactions. So from a time-consuming point of view, I don't know what that takes. So I'm learning as I go and making sure that, I have a good balance of doing what I need to do to grow my business, but at the same time, be home with my kids and be there for them. So for 2019, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And hopefully as I continue to learn the systems, as I get more efficient and as I get more effective, I can accomplish that goal while also, taking care of the things I need to take care of home.
I love it. I think because what we talked about is you creating an additional 6-figure income for your business while taking care of your family, right? And our goal together is creating a business plan where you can do your 1 or 2 transactions per month, get to the point where you're making a consistent 6-figure income, and be a great mom at the same time. And that's why I love our business and I love For Sale by Owners, because you can spend 30, 60, 90 minutes a day, set your appointments for the afternoon, and be home by the time the kids get home from school.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
I love it, and I'm hoping that I can make that happen.
Well, you are on the right track, and I just want to thank you again. I mean, you are surely going to inspire some other people that watch this in the future. And, when I bring on a new student, and I think I told you the same thing, my goal was to get you on one of these, is to get you up and running where you're starting to have some success, and then share your success with the world, because other people probably have inspired you, and now you get a chance. There's moms out there right now that will watch this in the future and say, wow, I want to be like Laura. So thank you so much. And I'm excited to do this maybe a year from now, and we can kind of look and say, okay, wow, look at the growth that Laura's gone through. And you're going to inspire your kids. Your husband's going to be super excited. And I think you got a really good future ahead of you. So thank you so much for doing this. And we'll talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Bye, Laura.
All right, bye.